Hello, I'm Rebecca Flaherty, and this week we're going to be making another simple pattern in Procreate using this diamond repeat method, and we will be using my pattern maker canvas, which comes with these seamless textures here and all of the layers set up for you to use exactly the same as I use. You can find this over in my Etsy shop, and it also comes with this pattern maker canvas brush set here with all these brushes. If you don't have the pattern maker canvas and you want to follow along, you'll just need to make a layer with a diamond on it, like this one here that goes all the way to the edges. You can do that by just making sure that you draw off the edges like that. It won't be as precise as the one I have here, but you will still be able to follow along. So let's get started. I'm going to draw in the draw here first section in the sketch group, and I'm going to use this mushroom stamp brush here, which you can find for free in my Freebie Library over on my website, or you could just draw your own mushrooms. Let's see how big this comes out, maybe make that a bit bigger. So I've got mine set at 25%, and what I'm going to do is just stamp a few of these mushrooms around the place like that, and then I'm going to go in and with snapping off, I'm just going to line these up a bit more how I would like them to be. I don't want them all pointing straight up, but I also don't really want them too upside down, I think. The trick is to get things looking random without looking like you tried too hard to make them look random. Maybe something like that. So when you've got your first lot of mushrooms stamped out, you can merge it down into your sketch diamond layer. And then we're going to tap up here to transform. I'm going to turn snapping and magnetics back on, and we're going to drag this down. Oh, I didn't duplicate it. Let's duplicate the layer first. Then we can tap to transform and drag it down into the corners here and see how they're all going to line up with what else is around them. Because this is how we're going to build out our tile. We've got this diamond as our repeat, but it's also going to work so that what is coming off the edge here will match up with what is over there. So I think that's not too bad for a first go. These are too close together and need spacing out, so this one here will need to be brought down a bit. So on this sketch diamond here, I'm going to grab this mushroom and turn snapping and magnetics off, and I'm just going to bring him down. It doesn't matter that we've taken some of this diamond down with us, as long as we've got still keep the bits on the corners. It doesn't matter if you cut bits of this out. So let's put him down there and then see how that looks. I think we might also need to bring this one up, because this one here is the same as this one here, and by moving that down this way, we're going to have made a bigger gap there, and I think there's already sort of a big gap. So what I'm going to do is grab this one and just move that across a little bit. So now I'll delete this sketch diamond on top. If you want a more of a full explanation of how this diamond method works, I've got another tutorial which goes a bit more in depth than this one, with a bit more of the why as well as the how to. I'll put a link to that at the end of the video and in the description. So I think this is probably enough. The only thing we might need is, I'm thinking it might need one in the middle here, but we can have a look at that in just a second. So to get a preview of how this works in repeat on a smaller scale, we can swipe down with 3 fingers, copy all, and we can come up here and we can paste. And then I'm going to drag this up to halfway there, duplicate and drag it across, pinch those together, duplicate and drag that down. And actually I think that we are going to be okay without putting something in there. I think that all we might need to do, this mushroom here, maybe bring him up a bit, but then it might look too linear with all of these in a line if we bring that up. So maybe we'll just leave it as it is. I think that's going to look nice and random, especially if we put some stars in as well. So let's hide that one. And then back on our bottom sketch diamond layer, we'll just add some dots in on that one, I think. some little stars. So I'm using the mini dot brush from the Pattern Maker canvas brush set there. And we'll just put some stars in there, nice and random, and then I'm gonna offset this layer again, just to make sure that none of those stars are too close. For example, I think those are going to be too close together, so let's just finish doing this and then we can go and correct those. So I think we probably do want some in the middle, and just get rid of this one. So we can get rid of that one there, and then maybe just put one there, and that would probably do it, I think. So spend some time figuring out the placement for your mushrooms and your stars. You can always like offset them around the outside to see how it's going to look once you've moved something. And as I say, don't worry about these bits being cut around. That won't make a difference to your final pattern, because this is just our sketch layer. So once we're at this stage and you've got your sketch worked out, we can then start making the motifs. So I'm going to show my pattern layer. You see the marker for that one there. And on this layer here, I'm going to do the mushroom base, or the mushroom stalk. So I'm going to use a peachy, creamy colour for the mushroom base, and I'm also going to make my background colour a bit darker. Let's go for a dark blue. And then on this mushroom stalks layer with the tracing crayon, I'm just going to draw in just the ones that are in the diamond, and actually I can turn off the ones around the outside for doing this, so we don't get confused. And we don't want to pay attention too closely to the lines, because we want this to have a little bit of natural variation. That's the whole reason we're using a stamp brush for the sketch layer, and then we draw the motifs in, is we get that natural variation. So once they're all done in, I can fill all of these in and quickly trace around those gaps that are inevitable. And then we can add a layer above. Of course, on mushroom caps, and we'll just grab a pink for this one for now, I think. And we're just going to trace over these mushroom tops. We might change up the colour of these later. Remembering we don't want to, doesn't matter if we make these a slightly different shape. And then we can fill those in as well. And then the next thing we'll do is to add the stars in on the layer above. Call that one stars. I'm going to grab my mini dot brush, and I think I might make this one, don't know whether to do it white or cream. Let's try doing it in a creamy colour, same as the mushrooms. So then I'm just going to put a dot over all of these ones. And then to add some soft glow to those, we'll duplicate them. The layer underneath will go to Gaussian blur, and if I zoom in so you can see, we'll just drag this up slightly to maybe like 8%, and that adds a nice soft glow around there. So you could try different blend modes to get some different effects. You could try normal. Another good one to try is screen, color dodge, or add. And also vivid light will also give a nice effect there. I think I'm going to put mine on add, and I might duplicate it, and then this top layer, bring it down to maybe like 40% to get that effect there. So the bottom one is on add at 100%, and then this one is add at 40% to get that little glow there. And if you don't have the textures, that's the kind of look that you'll have with this one. So let's turn those back on. And at this point, we can turn our sketch layer off, I think. And all that I want to do now is put some dots on these mushrooms. Let's see if this mini dot brush is going to be any good for that. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. So let's add this above the mushroom caps. We're going to add a layer and we'll clip it to that one. And we can just use this mini dot brush to stamp some circles just randomly on these mushrooms. Some of them going off the edges. And I think I might change these to white so that there's more of a contrast with the colour on the stalk. So I'm going to alpha lock that layer, grab white and fill the layer there. And then that is it, done for our pattern. You could add some shading if you wanted to for that one, but I think I'm going to leave this as it is, unshaded. So we can turn off this pattern label now, and on our pattern layer here we can duplicate this one. We can flatten that layer, hide this one and drag it out from our layer group and turn that layer off now. So we can just with any old brush just put a mark. Oh, we need to turn alpha lock off first. Put a mark in each of these corners. You can duplicate that layer and drag it and offset it to the corners, making sure we've got those orange lines there for snapping. Pinch those together and then we can erase these middle marks. Make the eraser a bit bigger. And then also erase the ones in the corners. And then once we've done that, you can pinch to merge those two layers together. And then this is your pattern tile, which you could export as a JPEG or a PNG and upload to Spoonflower or Redbubble. What I'm going to do now is build it out into a little preview here. So let's swipe down with 3 fingers to copy all, go up to our top layer, swipe down again and we'll paste. And we can then duplicate this around the canvas. And that is how to make a quick and easy seamless pattern in Procreate using this diamond repeat method. Don't forget you can buy this pattern maker canvas on Etsy, and these mushroom brushes you can find for free over in my freebie library on my website.